Alright, so, after some further testing with my microphone, realizing how much I messed up that other stuff last time, hopefully we'll see how this turns out. Hopefully it's loud enough, because last time it was way too quiet. Um, but the general idea for the channel moving forward, I'm considering moving everything over to BitChute or something other than YouTube, because YouTube will put ads on things I don't want ads on and make money off it when I just want to share the love of gaming and storytelling with people. Um, but I'm also thinking I should just occasionally do, stream of consciousness reviews of things, especially given recent Star Wars. And I know I did On the Page about The Last Jedi, and I want to get back to On the Page eventually, but that's not going to be in the recent cards. That's going to be a project that's sitting on the back burner until my life's more in order. As for my living situation, I've got a job right now, trying to get going as an apprentice electrician, but there's a few other steps I have to run into along the way. But I just generally speaking, I want to try and get this channel moving with something. So we'll get into that at some point. I want to finish up my LPs, but I might just have to move them over and then, continue them elsewhere. I'm also... I might start doing live streams on Tuesday mornings. And I might start doing those on Tuesday mornings because that's one of the few times I won't potentially bother people with the sound I'm making down here. So that's the game plan. We'll see how that goes. The Tuesday morning live streams might become a regular thing. We'll see how that goes. But generally speaking, I'm wanting to get back to the YouTube channel, wanting to be creative. Heck, I might even break down a few of the ideas I've been brainstorming for stories, and kind of, give what lessons I can as to what I've learned over the years. Now that I'm a more confident and capable writer than I used to be, I might start giving tips as to character building and, generally speaking, how to structure your story. Which is kind of what the idea of On the Page was in the first place. This idea where I could, in theory, take existing pieces of media for good and for bad and use them as writing lessons for people. Because regardless of what medium you're experiencing a story in, there's a great deal you can learn about storytelling from them. Since I have ADHD, I pull more from interactive pieces of medium as far as giving lessons, because you feel more engaged in those just by actively engaging, and also they tend to take less overall time investment than reading a book. But there are a few different book series that I will always swear by. One of those, oddly, is the Aragon series. I'll admit I have not finished Bersinger, and there's a reason for that, which I might as well just drop here as something productive for my channel to do other than an update. Bersinger kind of put me off in the first chapter, and the second chapter too, because Paolini started writing when he was, he wrote the first Aragon book when he was still in high school. And you can see his craft evolve over Eldest and Inheritance. It's just the way that works. But the problem is, once you get to the final book in the Inheritance cycle, you can tell that he's improved so much that now he's just showing off. Now he's just like, you know what I want to do with my opening? I want it to be just as fanciful as I can possibly imagine. And every writer has been down that road before. I don't think there's a single one of us who doesn't get it. But it's one of those things that can immediately put your reader off, because it's like, oh, come on, you're writing good, yeah, but it's in a way that distracts from the characters in the story, especially Paolini. I am a fan of your character building and your world building, but you were supposed to write a trilogy, and you promised us a trilogy, and I was super mad at the end of the third book because of that, and I will get into that another time. But it's very important for you to remember that as much as you love writing, your message is only going to be as effective as your writing. So if you're writing in a way that distracts your reader from the characters and the story and the emotions you're trying to get across, just to be as indulge and flex your writing muscles, you're going to put the reader off. Because the reader doesn't care that you know all these big fancy words. And while they are specific for you, you chose them to get very specific imagery across, to paint the beautiful artistry of your story across their mind the same way you see it in yours. That doesn't mean it isn't distracting to somebody who doesn't think like a writer. In fact, it might actually be more distracting to writers, because we know what you're doing, and we wish you would just, quote Monty Python, get on with it! Especially when you, the biggest problem you did with that, Paolini, if you ever listen to this, the biggest mistake you made by doing that. Audacity doing this. Okay, we're still here. Okay. Paolini, the biggest mistake you made by doing that is you already knew we were upset by making it a cycle as opposed to a trilogy, and you left us on such a good cliffhanger for the third book that by doing that, by opening up with you flexing your writing muscles on something that just doesn't serve the story, on the opening, the cold open, for somebody who's already been frustrated that you didn't finish it in a trilogy like you wanted, and I get why, but it's like all you did is you immediately made me go, he's not taking this seriously. No wonder it ended up having 4 books. He's not taking this seriously. So while I didn't like the movie they made from your books, Paolini, I respect your writing, and I respect your chops as a writer. And I would love to have a conversation with you about how writing Aragon ended up working out and how that came across. But I did wanted to... I'm not expecting Paolini to find this. Paolini's never going to find this. I'm a nobody. But that doesn't stop me. I'm organic. I'm me. That being what it is, might do some story structure reviews using various bits of pop culture as kind of structure references. Even compare and contrast without actually comparing and contrasting. Just, almost podcast formula for it, just to get it out there. But if I do any live streams, I'm going to be doing it on Tuesday mornings. And that's about that. That's state of the channel and a little bit of writing advice. Yeah, wish you nothing but the best. Hopefully everybody, all one person who continues watching my videos, you're appreciated. You're never taken for granted. Though I wish you'd leave comments. I always love comments. What's the point of making content if you don't get feedback? But that being what it is, I might be moving my Let's Plays over to BitChute. I don't know. I might only do video game playthroughs on Twitch. Just 'cause. We'll see how that goes. Tuesday morning's probably a terrible time to stream if you actually want fans, but hey. And that's life. I'll give you guys any updates as they matter. Peace out. Bye.